So I had just gone into my little Korean deli in Flushing here, and surprisingly, the cashier knew what this was. He was actually very excited to see one in the wild. He knew it was the Clicks case. He had said he wanted one for himself, and they are currently sold out, even the yellow one, or especially the yellow one. I didn't know it was that popular, if I'm being honest. So, I feel kind of good. Anyway, with that said, let's get into it.
Now everybody scream enough respect to the X. Enough respect given.
So here it is, out and about with the Clicks case on my iPhone 14 Pro. Now, aside from the case, it's kind of odd for me to be using this as I am, because my iPhone 14 gets very little use from me. Not because it's a bad device, I just don't particularly care for iPhones much at all. I only have this one because it was purple and had that cool island technology that they brought out that year. But I have to admit, having this keyboard on the case is making the iPhone experience more enjoyable. Now, what I mean by that is being able to physically type out what I want to friends and family is just more satisfying with this keyboard on this device. So the thing about the Clicks keyboard is it requires repetition to get your finger positioning correctly. I've been using this thing for maybe 2 weeks now, but I have made it one of my tasks to carry the iPhone with me so I can try and get used to the Clicks keyboard. Now, am I any faster on this keyboard today than I was when I first got it? Oh, mess up, see? I think I am. Now, one of the tricks to the keyboard is you start to slowly learn where the keys are. So, whereas with the touchscreen keyboard, I'm constantly looking where to place my fingers because I get so many typos when I use swipe or what have you. With this, for the most part, even though you saw that I did miss the word at the end there, I am more accurate with it, though not as fast. So I would say that the trick to the Clicks keyboard is you will be slower at first, but you'll be more accurate. But as you persist with the device, not only will you be more accurate than with a touchscreen keyboard, but you will soon gain the same speed. And that's what I'm trying to do here. That's what I'm trying to do here. Now, my fingers aren't as precise with the keyboard placement as I would like them to be. But again, it does take time. Now, when you are typing on the keyboard, I really need to stop missing that. There will come times where you have to get into the punctuations. Now, most of them can be selected simply by pressing the 1, 2, 3 button here. This will change the key, as you see there's 6, to whatever other letter or symbol is on the key. But we all know this from regular keyboards. But there will come times where there'll be punctuations that you want that aren't available here. And that's where you go and you press here the punctuation button, and it will bring up the software keyboard. Now you see that it's the same keys as down there, but just as before, you can go in and then you can change into the other punctuations you might want, percentage and things along those lines. So there's no way that I have found that will allow me to get to these symbols here simply by doing some type of command input down here. I'm not saying it's not there, I just don't know what it is. So there will be times where you will have to go from physical keyboard to software keyboard to properly show what you're trying to write up top. There are also tons of keyboard commands to use for ease of use. So one of the first shortcuts that I found to be actually useful is when playing YouTube. Now you turn it like so, and your clicks keyboard is on the side, and you have a very nice way to view your video without your hands getting in the way. But let's say you want to stop the video. I can't reach the screen, which is fine because when you press space, it stops. Press space again, it plays. Another keyboard function I found is when you press C, it brings up subtitles. And there you see your subtitles right on screen. Press C again, they go away. And again, press space to pause. Now, this is very useful to me, simply because it keeps my screen completely clear. Along with the shortcuts in YouTube, I also found a few shortcuts in some other apps that I use. For example, here in Notes, if I press Command P, it takes me straight to my options to print. If I press Command F, it takes me to find, and there I can find whatever word I might be trying to highlight, as you can see there. Also, we have the regular commands like Command A to select all, Command X to cut, then Command V to put it all back, Command C to copy, Command V to paste. Let's go back to this. Command A again to get rid of it, backspace to delete, and Command V again to put it back. So, as you can see, the keyboard commands do really help to make things move a lot quicker. If not for the command, I'd have to hold this and then paste, select all. You know, you have all of your options up there. But if you know exactly what you're doing, it just moves faster. To move to other apps, you can do Command H to go home. Now let's say you don't want to go back to the home page. From any app, you can go and press Command Space, and that brings up your search. Now, in your search, you can type in whatever you might want. Here we have mail, and from mail, you're right in there. Now, a few commands I found in mail is you can go straight to Command N and bring up a brand new email to send. Pressing these two buttons will turn on and off the backlight for your keyboard when you need to see it at times like this when it's a little dark outside. If you press this button here and S, you will call up your virtual assistant. Press that same button and C, you'll bring your quick menu. Very helpful. Now press that same button and N, and you'll get your notifications. Now I know there are many more keyboard commands that this thing is capable of, and they seem to be app dependent. Some are universal, but for the most part, the command is going to depend on the app you are using. So the more apps I use on the device, the more commands I will learn, which will make this entire keyboard that much more useful to me because it helped me get things done that much faster. If you learn the keyboard, you do have access to, as far as I can tell, most functions of your phone. Now, if you are a one-handed user of devices, let's say you like to use swipe or shrink down your software keyboard to be able to be used with one hand, this is not the device for you. You are not going to be able to easily type with one hand on this. It will take some getting used to, because I'm pretty sure on some occasion the device just might fall out of your hand, especially if you have the Clicks keyboard in, like, let's say an iPhone Max. But it's not that it can't be done, it's just not recommended that you do it. Well, one of the benefits to having such a large case on your device is your device is easier to hold simply because there's more of it to hold. Now, my iPhone 14 Pro is not a Max, although I do enjoy a smaller device. I have to admit, having this larger case on it does really make holding the phone a little more comfortable. My hand placement is lower on the phone to counter the odd center of gravity that the case causes with the device, but it's not bad to hold it at all. And when you speak on it, not that the keyboard area is where your voice goes to, but again, easier to hold because more phone to hold. So while using the Clicks keyboard while out and about, one of the first things that I notice as I put it in my car is the length that it adds to the phone. Now, I'm a cup holder guy, as you can see. I don't have any type of magnetic holster for my devices. And I was pleasantly surprised to find that one of the features of this case is the fact that if you are a cup holder type of guy, like I am, it does raise the phone high enough that you're able to see the screen that much better. One thing about using the Clicks case on your iPhone is it takes away its magsafe capability. The case itself does not have magsafe included. So if you did have a dock or something like that that required magsafe, it kind of attaches to it, but the magnetism isn't really strong at all, and it can be easily knocked off. In my case, I had this right here, a little stand that I would use the iPhone on pretty much for a night clock. Now, because of the lip right around the camera hump of the Click case, I am able to attach the case to the MagSafe stand, and the hump, if I just get a good shot here, just kind of holds itself on the MagSafe charger. So like this, it works fine. Now, there was one particular thing I was curious about. The Click case says it's for the iPhone 14, which I have here. Here is my phone. Note the lovely purple. This is my daughter's phone. And surprisingly enough, she has an iPhone 13, and the Click case more or less fits. But not only does it fit, but it actually works. Look, it works. So it's not so much that the case is only for iPhone 14 and iPhone 15, depending on the connection. It is, I think it's more of a OS, because just like that, I can switch to the click to my other phone here, and it's working just fine. Personally, I think that's pretty cool. So if you were looking to get the click case but didn't have the phone you thought you needed to properly make use of it, iPhone 13 seems to work just fine, and I would assume 12 and 11, even the XR, as long as it's running the current version of iOS, I think you will be fine. Now, one feature I find myself wishing that this keyboard had, and maybe they'll add it to a future iteration of it, is the ability to use a swipe over the keyboard to control a cursor on whatever page you are on. Now, the BlackBerry had something like that, the Priv, and I think the Key as well, where you could just swipe over the keys and move the cursor to wherever you wanted it to. As it stands right now, I still have to go in and press the cursor where I want it to make any sort of correction to whatever I'm trying to type. One of the benefits to having a software keyboard as opposed to a fixed physical keyboard is that you can actually change the keyboard and how it works. You can add functionality and take functionality away. So if a software keyboard didn't have a function that you wanted to, you could just add it or get a whole other keyboard that works the way you like. With this, it is not the case. As good as it is, and as satisfying as it is, there are still certain things that I do miss from the software keyboard. Now, I'm not saying that another keyboard wouldn't be as satisfying. I don't know, because I haven't used a physical keyboard on a phone in so long, but I do enjoy the typing experience so much more now that I can actually feel what I am doing. Of course, the experience isn't perfect. There are some things I do wish this Clicks keyboard had, and there is a learning curve to it, especially if you aren't really a iPhone or iPad user, simply because there are keyboard commands I just don't know yet, and to memorize them all will probably take some time. But the initial experience of typing out a word or a message, whatever it might be, is just so much more enjoyable and satisfying now that I can do it on a physical keyboard. So with that said, my name is NG, the Neon X, and enjoying the Clicks case on my iPhone 14. This is what I'm into.